So I'm not really sure how to introduce this video. I'm just going to tell you exactly what we're doing. We are making a house, but we're putting those steps through Google Translate several times to see how cursed they can get. I got this idea with Google Translate from a guy called Wishbone Games, who makes some good video games, and is very funny, so you should go check him out if you're interested. Subscribe, like, give me your liver, all that good stuff. And let's get right into it. Start with the edge of a 12x12 paver. So there isn't really anything in this game called a paver, so I just type in PA, which is the closest I could get to the word. So I just decided to use some pale oak planks for the foundation 12x12. Everyone came, put on the saddle, and came. I'm not really sure what to do for this one, so I just grabbed myself an item frame and a saddle and just put it in there. That looks good. On the front, cut a 2-inch square for a border. I'm assuming they mean a door, or like a spot for a door, 2 inches, 2 blocks. So I just grabbed myself a spruce door, a 12-story stone veranda with fences along the edges, flanked by a valley. Well, a valley is a spot between two mountains, and this is a flat world, so I'm not going to build 2 mountains, but I am going to build a 12-story porch. And when I mean 12-story, I mean exactly 12-story. We're going to go up and up and up and up and up. I mean, I have to do what the builder wants, so build the floor with a 2x3 chessboard grid in the right corner. Other floors are made of birch boards. So I make a quick checkerboard pattern in the corner and fill in the rest with birch planks. Put out windows of different sizes on the wall, filled with gray stained glass. Well, the wall's saddled with the item frame, so I just put in some random windows, making sure to make them different sizes to match the description. Below the windows, a flower box made from a fir trap was added, as well as large roses. Trap gives me tripwire hook, so I get to work making myself a fir trap, putting down some string, and along with some raised grass beds to put myself some tall rose bushes. And a small, thick slate roof over the porch, and small stairs right on the side. So I get to work making a thick roof for this porch, filling it up with cobbled deep slate slabs. And I make sure to put little stairs on the side of each story of the porch. Create a second story with a deep slate brick floor with walls made from painted white frames. It's higher than the first floor with tall white glass ceilings. Okay. I grab myself some deep slate bricks, which I'm assuming is what it means. And there's not really paint in Minecraft, so I grabbed calcite, which is probably one of my favorite white blocks, so this is bias. And I put up a frame, not walls, a frame, because that's what it called for. And filling in the ceiling with your pretty normal white glass blocks. But no, we need a second one. It says ceilings. So I get to work on a second one, right above the original. Inside, construct a deep cable ladder to reach the second floor. Now, there's no cables in Minecraft, nor is there deep slate ladders, so I grabbed myself some chains and put some deep slate slabs to just kind of look like a ladder if you really squint and also happen to be blind. Create a roof out of thick slate by combining roof tiles, bricks, and cracked bricks to form a simple, stylized triangle. So I get to work on the actual roof, using a variation of deep slate bricks, cracked deep slate bricks, and deep slate tiles, making sure it's pretty thick as to somewhat match the roof on top of the porch. Inside, on the first floor, there's a red carpet, a craft table, 4 chests of drawers, and a small table with chairs and flower pots on it. I start with making a table and chairs, which is pretty nice, and don't forget the flower pots. You must have several flower pots. Put down the rug, of course, to add some color into this place. 4 double chests. There's not really drawers in this game, so this will have to do. Along with a craft table. On the second floor, you can make a magic table using planks. You need a total of 15 boxes. Arrange them in a 2x3 grid, with 3 boxes on each side and 1 box on top. Should be a 3x3 rectangle in the middle. The magic table should be placed in the center of the area. I'm not really sure what these instructions are, But I'm going to take boxes as barrels, as they kind of do look like boxes, and I put the enchanting table in the center. So, you know, it's a pretty standard enchanting setup. Not sure how much levels you're going to get out of it though. Also on the second floor, place a dark blue bed with a nightstand and a flower on it in the corner. Place a butterfly in the flower pot. Place a blue rug in the middle of the room, in one corner with the armor you want. Well, at least it lets me pick the armor I want. That's pretty polite of it. I grab myself a blue bed and place it down, and I make sure to get my bedside table and flower pot. Putting down a blue rug, and I grab myself an assortment of different types of armors, all that I please because the thing said I could. And there's no butterflies in the game, but B will suffice, sort of in the flower pot. Once the main building is complete, we will begin working on a small workshop on the side. Start with a grass brick foundation. Make 9x. I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty sure this means make 9 of them, but I really don't want to do that, so I'm gonna make a 9x9. And of course, using Minecraft's famous grass bricks, build spruce walls using spruce wood. Oh, thank God, I was worried. To create the structure. Well, that's simple. Just use some spruce planks to build up the walls of this workshop. At least it has walls. Build a brick fireplace with a tall chimney and lined walls. Place a smoke box under the fireplace. Yes, smoke box. I decided to just go with a classic brick chimney as it didn't tell me what material to use it as. And I put down smoke box, of course, and making the chimney quite tall. Build the roof of the main building with deep bricks, tiles, and wood. I'm assuming it means build the roof off of the main building. So that's what we're gonna do, as I already built the roof. So I get to work with some deep slate tiles and decide to go with some jungle wood just to spice things up, as it didn't specify what type of wood. The work area includes a craft table, sewing machine, crafting table, coal, and leave a corner. Well, I'm sure as hell gonna leave a corner. And of course, you do need some coal for your smoke box, so this makes very much sense. You can't forget your craft table and also your crafting table. And sewing machine. Surprisingly, Minecraft does not have a sewing machine, so here's my makeshift version, using some iron blocks and using a chain as like that poker thing. I don't know how to sew, by the way. But yeah, workshop complete. It looks exactly as I would imagine it, so just gotta spruce it up with some lights, and boom. Next, we're going to build a greenhouse in the backyard! Exclamation mark. Now I'm excited. Build a sandcastle using solid glass. Clean the cracks and waterlogged areas. Well, I guess greenhouse is an arbitrary term. So we're building a sandcastle, but made out of glass, so at least the material is the same thing. So I get to work building the towers of the castle, making a pretty grand entrance. 4 corners. This is a pretty classic castle. As all castles are back in the medieval time, made out of very breakable glass. And of course, I had to clean up the waterlogged areas, as it would be abysmal if I were to keep them. That would be just ridiculous. Inside, beans, carrots, potatoes, and lentils are grown in multiple raised beds. A little water is poured into one of the pots, and the sugar is placed in them. And what is protected by this grand castle? Well, plants, of course, to keep the residents of this house fed. So, of course, I start planting my sugar, not sugar cane. Don't be stupid. It said for sugar, so, you know, sugar. Next, we get to work on a little potato farm, as it did say potatoes. And for beans, we got cocoa beans, because that's the only beans in the game. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for lentils. So just ignore that part, because there isn't any lentils in this game. But yeah, castle is done. Greenhouse. Now let's add the finishing touches. We will decorate the house with a simple but unique oak. We will add a small fence of grass, flowers, and leaves. Final step, and this one is a doozy. We get to work growing ourselves a nice oak tree beside the house, because it said decorate the house with an oak tree, not decorate a house with an oak tree beside the house. Then we get to work making ourselves a grass fence. Of course, the classic material to use for a fence. It keeps your 100-foot porch hidden, but lets you be able to enter the house through any area you'd like. Oh, and don't forget to add some leaves and some flowers just to make it complete. So yeah, pretty short video overall, but this is my Google translated house. It's interesting. I enjoyed making this video actually. This was very funny. I hope you enjoyed the silliness. If you do decide to make your own Google Translated house, just put basic steps to make a Minecraft house into Google Translate and just push it through several languages over and over again until you get something that's stupid. If you do try this, please tell me if you do, because that'd be very fun to see what you create. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.